Hey YouTube, Ed here with Jack of All Trades, and welcome to another video. So I know it's been a while since I posted a video. Things have been just crazy busy with my daughter graduating for high school and getting her all set up for college, blah 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 blah. You know how it is with family stuff. But now I get some me time, and I am heading north to Canada. We're going to do a fly-in Canadian fishing trip. So I'm going to try and document some of the trip, tell you about where I went, how the fishing was, what the facilities were like, kind of do a semi-review of this place, and let you know what I think about it. And hopefully we catch a whole crap load of fish and have a good time. So stay tuned. Let's go fishing. And welcome back. So before we get into this, as per the usual, I got to ask you to go down, hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you ring that notification bell so you get notified of upcoming videos. And if you like this kind of content, let me know, and I'll try to do more of it. Although this kind of content is going to be kind of a once-in-a-lifetime thing for me, unless I do another one if I like it that much. All right, so what are we doing? We're doing a fly-in Canadian fishing trip. We're going through a outfitter called Dogskin Lake Lodge. They've got several outpost camps. The one we're going to is the Black Lake Outpost. And if you Google map Black Lake Outpost Camp, it'll come up. Black Lake is kind of an L-shaped lake, and it's very long and thin, and there is one cabin on it, and that is the cabin that we're staying in. And this outfitter apparently has exclusive rights to that lake. So we're going to be the only 4 guys on this lake, and we're going to have the whole lake to ourselves for a week. And as I understand it, it is packed full of walleyes and pike, which is exactly the species of fish that we're looking for. So we cross the border tomorrow. I'm heading to a friend's house tonight where I spend the night. And then the rest of us meet up there tomorrow, and then we cross over the border tomorrow. We spend the night in Pine Falls, Manitoba. And then 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, we drive to the outfit that's flying us in, which is about 10 minutes away from the hotel. Place called Blue Water Aviation. They're the ones that actually fly us into Black Lake, and then we fish there for 6 days, and then they pick us up at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday of the last day, and then we go home. Hopefully the fish are cooperative. Hopefully the weather's nice and the bugs aren't too bad. This is a rustic outpost camp with minimal electricity and plumbing and things of that effect, but it does have some plumbing as I understand it. This is the first time any of us have done this, so I don't really 100% know what to expect, but I've been told that it's a very nice outpost camp and we should be quite comfortable there. And more than anything, there's no cell phone signal, and we can completely unplug from the world for 6-7 days and just completely decompress, which is really the whole point. So with that, let's stop talking. I'll document as much of this trip as I can, and let's go fishing. So the only hotel to stay in Pine Falls is the Paper Town Inn. It's decent enough. I mean, it's not the Ritz-Carlton, but it's a bed and it's a restaurant with decent food. And then right next door to the hotel is a gas station that will have your bait for you. I believe it's called Clark's Corner or something like that. But they've got all the frozen shiners and stuff that you're going to need for your trip. Here we're at Blue Water Aviation, and this happens to be our plane coming in to take us up to Black Lake.
Emergency exits, 2 doors at the back, 2 doors at the front, window in the ceiling.
So here we are, we're on Black Lake, part of the Dogskin Outfitter Outposts. There's the cabin, fish cleaning house. This is a rustic outpost camp. And when I say rustic, I mean it. Outhouse, refrigerator is propane powered, solar power, electricity, no cell signal up here. This is a rustic outpost camp. Like I said, outhouse, there is a shower with a hot water heater and stuff like that. But yeah, she's an adventure to be sure. First impressions, not half bad, not perfect. It's pretty clear that nobody has been in here cleaning the cabin since the last clients left. There's still trash in the cabin. Guys are in there now doing the dishes. They left stuff in the bedrooms. There's sleeping bags and all kinds of stuff left in the bedrooms that the last group didn't take out with them. So yeah, she's a rustic outpost camp. But we've got 4 boats, a whole lake to ourselves. We have a roof over our heads. Should be a good time. This is kind of exactly what we were all expecting. Like I said, it is a rustic outpost camp. You'll see right there that yellow spot in the middle of the lake. That's the inlet for the water that supplies water to the camp. So that's where they're actually drawing their water from. So the lake is clean enough to draw your water from there. And if you look at the lake, it looks pretty clear, pretty clean. So yeah, I'll take you in and take a look at the bedrooms and the kitchen and show you what the inside of the cabin looks like. So coming into the cabin, you know, this is the front steps and the front door. Yeah, typical deck. A couple of the boards need a little bit of attention. This brings you into the entryway or porch, and they actually have a bed out here, and we clearly had a guy sleeping out here. I took this video a couple days into the trip. Then you walk in the main door, and there's the main sitting area with quite a long dining room table, wood stove, hot water heater on the wall, and a basic kitchen with a propane stove, the dishes, the pots, the pans, a couple of coffee pots. Everything is really there that you need to set up housekeeping for a week. A little pantry there to store your food. Then you walk down the hallway and you got bedroom on the right immediately, and then another bedroom on the right, and a bedroom on the left, and then you've got a real basic shower room. I wouldn't call it a bathroom. I guess it would be a bathroom. It just doesn't have a stool in it because you are using an outhouse. So we'll go out the back door, and it's a hike to get out to the outhouse. You don't want to wait. We'll put it that way. And it's a little bit of an uneven, rocky trail, but it's fine. But it's a bit of a jaunt to get back there to the outhouse. You take this little trail back. It takes about, I suppose, 25-30 seconds to get back there. These rocks are a little slippery, so you kind of want to watch your footing. I don't know that I would go out here in the middle of the night. You never know when there's going to be a bear running around, but it is what it is. Can't really have a septic tank out here because this cabin was built on a big rocky outcropping. But you can see you have to walk quite a ways to get to the outhouse. And then once you get into the outhouse, it's just exactly that. It's a one-holer. There's some toilet paper and stuff in there. Plenty of spiders to keep you company. If you're doing your business first thing in the morning, there's plenty of mosquitoes to keep you company. So be prepared for that. I've noticed that having a cigar lit while I was out there surely helped. But yeah, it is what it is. It's just a basic rudimentary outhouse. So the equipment we had to use were 14-foot aluminum boats with 15-horse 4-stroke motors. The motors ran pretty good. They're a little on the cold-blooded side, but that's probably just from years of use. They ran good. They made a decent wake, and for 2 guys in the boat, they tootled along pretty good. You're not going to break any speed records, but you don't need to. This equipment was actually pretty much perfect for this lake. And being as it is a resort with 15-horse motors, the guests really can't get themselves in any kind of trouble. while they're tooling across the lake, because they will only go so fast. But it was more than adequate to get done what we needed to get done. So fishing was really good. There was lots of walleyes in the lake. You had to weed through some small ones to get some big ones, but it was not a hard time finding 14 to 17 inch fish to put in the pan. One thing I would recommend is showing up with a portable depth finders. We use these Garmin Striker 4 portables. They worked really, really well. They did exactly what we needed them to do, and I would highly recommend showing up with some kind of portable depth finder. So like I said, there's quite a few smaller fish, but it's nonstop action. You just keep catching fish once you find them. But finding the 14 to 17 inch fish, which is the fish that they want you to keep for the pan, is not hard to do. Now, we all had conservation licenses, so we were only able to keep 2 fish a day. But that was plenty enough to keep us fed. So we had fish every day while we were there. We had fish for breakfast, we had fish for lunch, fish for supper. We kind of mixed it around a little bit, but we always had a fish meal, at least one fish meal every day, which was awesome. And finding fish to eat was not at all difficult.
Oh yeah.
You just kind of weed through these little guys here and just have fun with it, because it is nonstop action. And as you can see, I'm using nothing more than a yellow jig head with a white Mr. Twister. We did have minnows and the minnows were effective, but you didn't have to have it. And then I also brought gulp leeches, which worked really, really well. And intermixed with the walleyes are these large pike. You know, we had big pike. We caught pike all the way up from 30 to 39, 40 inches. And then these bigger 20-inch walleyes were not hard to find. They were also intermixed with the little ones. This was a 35-inch pike that I caught while walleye fishing. I caught it on a twister with a jig. Limits of fish, the stringers of fish were not difficult to find. And this particular one, my fishing partner, he caught that northern while reeling in that 13-inch walleye, and he bit the walleye on the way up. This was a 19-incher that I caught. So finding decent fish was not hard to find. And also getting your limit of fish for eating was not hard to find. Plenty of these 14-inchers to find to put in the pan, which was great. This particular northern here, this was a 39-incher that he caught. He actually went over there and was throwing spoons intentionally, trying to find a pike. The rudimentary 12, 13-inch Black Lake walleye, not hard to find. And eating was not hard to find walleyes to eat. We brought these fillets with us. We had surf and turf a couple of nights, and it was absolutely fantastic. Had a great time. The scenery is beautiful. This was the scene out the front door of the cabin, and as you can see, it was absolutely gorgeous. This morning just happened to have a little bit of fog over the lake, and it was beautiful. But waking up to these kind of views in the morning was not difficult. We saw wildlife. This was one of 3 moose that we saw while fishing. A few days earlier, we saw off in the distance a cow moose and her calf were actually swimming across the lake. Don't know if this was a bull or a cow. It was too far away to tell, but we saw plenty of moose. We saw beavers. We saw eagles. We saw all kinds of stuff. And, then at the cabin, the typical wildlife, you had your resident chipmunk, and don't be surprised when you're sitting and eating supper if you happen to see a mouse run across the cabin. So these are just basically pictures of the rooms to give you a better visual of the room. The only complaint I had about the cabin was the windows really leaked mosquitoes pretty badly. We went around and had to tape up all the windows to seal them out from mosquitoes. The outfitter tells us that they're in the process of replacing windows and doors in the cabin, so hopefully that happens. And then the next thing you know, it's time for us to leave. The pilot showed up Saturday morning, 7 o'clock, right on the money, just when he said he would be there. And it was time to leave and the trip was over, so we took a little bit of video here. This is front seat of the Otter that we were in. We were in turbo Otters, which are turbine prop engine or turbine prop aircraft with floats. They seat about 8 people, so plenty of room for your gear and your peoples. And the pilot was very professional. He had a great takeoff. This ride was as smooth as any airliner ride that I had ever taken. And looking out the windows at the scenery as we were flying were absolutely gorgeous. We're actually taking off from Black Lake in the long stretch of the lake here, and it was absolutely gorgeous, and I couldn't be happier with the trip. We really had a good time. Like I said, the only downside of the whole trip was the cabin leaking mosquitoes, and then when we got there, the previous party didn't do a very good job of cleaning up the cabin. They kind of left it a mess. So hopefully the guys that took the cabin from us didn't think that of us when we left. But just take a look at some of these views. Absolutely stunning. And with that, our trip is over. Here we're on final approach, and we're coming back to Blue Water Aviation's hub. So I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed taking the trip. If you have not ever done a Canadian fly-in fishing trip, I would highly recommend doing it, especially if you like catching walleyes and big northern pike. This trip was definitely worth it. Dogskin Outfitters have clearly done this before. They've got these trips planned out to pretty much a science. Read their website. Whatever they tell you to do on the website, take that to heart and just go out there and have a good time, experience nature, and live life without cell phones. It's absolutely awesome, and I would certainly recommend it to anybody who wants to take a trip like this. With that, this is Ed from Jack of All Trades. Thank you for stopping by. As always, thank you to my longtime subscribers, and we will see you on the next video.